want men to cry because then I don't feel protected.
So my last ex, he cried.
You like it? I would like to be better about that, you know? Like, I don't want to see. I don't know.
I don't mind them crying, though. I think they should be able to be vulnerable.
I do. I think men should be able to cry and be vulnerable.
Yeah.
But for some reason, once they cry, you know what happens to me? I turn into the man.
No, you met the wrong one.
When they cry, I be like, I be like that, like.
It depends what they're crying about. So if they had a death in their family,
if we both cry,
if their mom passed,
I get it, family. Oh, I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about like if something don't go their way, like a cry.
Oh no.
But like if someone die in your family and things like that, then
what if having a bad? No.
And you know, like having a bad, like I just don't want men to cry because then I don't feel protected.
But I feel like this. So my ex would cry if something happened. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I think men should be vulnerable if they're going through something.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you think that?
Yeah, I think they should be able to cry.
Why do you think that?
I don't cry.
You don't cry?
Not really.
Why don't you cry?
Because I don't have anything to cry about.
I'm an emotional gangster. I'm an emotional gangster.
Oh, I do not cry.
Pisces?
She's a Pisces. They cry all the time. But but if you say boo to them, they crying. Oh, you said boo to me.
Like, why you did me like that?
Now, this is something that I've heard for a while. This is a conversation that I have both been a part of and I've been able to witness and or hear. And it comes right back down to the exact same thing, that if you are a man, at the end of the day, a woman wants you to be emotionless. They just want you to be still. It doesn't matter what happens. It can be a funeral. It can be the happiest day of your life. It can be whatever excitement. It could be the worst day of your life. At the end of the day, as a man, you are not supposed to cry. The only people that are realistically supposed to show emotions in a relationship or just in general when it deals with everyday life is only women. That's what she's telling you. Because even when it was brought up to the whole thing of, a man losing a loved one or whatnot, she still wasn't too, forthcoming with the belief that a guy should be able to express emotions. Because, like I said before, and some women may disagree, some women may not. The fact that I know that a lot of women out here will tell a guy that, yo, you better not ever cry in front of me. I better not, ever, see you cry. Or the same thing that K. Michelle showed off where she was, quote unquote, as she said, in the seat as a man, trying to tell the dude to man up, to boss up, to suck that up and all this other type. Like, yo, and women wonder why it is that a lot of guys are emotionless in relationships or when it deals with certain situations. This is why. Because throughout our lives, we've always heard that we're not supposed to show any type of emotions. We're supposed to bottle things up. We're supposed to just put that away somewhere and just still, be a man. Just still walk with it. Just whatever hurt, whatever pain, whatever you're going through, never mind that. Still be a man. Still be a protection. Still be that wall at the end of the day. And as I told people before, that it don't matter how fine or what grade of a material you make a wall directly out of, at the end of the day, time will always bring that wall down. There will always be a crack. There will always be a fracture. Something will be bent. There will be a dent. It don't matter what it is. Somehow, some way, that wall is not going to be the exact same way it was when it was first built. Which means that over time, you're going to need to do maintenance on that wall. So what do you think is going to happen to a man that has to be a wall? He has to bear all of the weather, right? He has to bear all of his emotions. He has to also bear your emotions, the emotions of the family, of his kids. He got to take on the emotions of the job and the world. He gotta bear all of this. All of these things are being thrown directly at him. And then on top of that, he has to walk through that, barrel through that, still be able to deliver the safety and protection to you, right? while mentally he's going through all of this wear and tear. And not only that, he also physically has to put his life and his body on the line in order to protect you. And this is what he gets at the end of the day. He gets told that you better not cry in front of me. It's weak if you cry as a man. And as a woman, as that protection, as that person that's supposed to be the on the receiving end of the understanding of your emotions and everything that you got to go through, I'm going to look down upon you as the woman that you're with. I'm going to look down upon you as the man who was supposed to protect me if you decide to cry and show emotions. And women wonder why it is that guys walk around here emotionless. You wonder why it is that you have so many young boys and so many young men and so many men just in general having outbursts of violence, of physical altercations. That comes from all of that repressed emotion, all of those things that they're not able to express because they got to keep every single thing bottled in. And you know what happens when you have a rickety vehicle and it's carrying 100 glass bottles? All it takes is for one rock, one bump in the road, one slight vibration, and one of those bottles is going to break. And if one of those bottles is going to break, a great many is going to break. And now you got shards of glass all over the place. And now you got to try to pick those up with your bare hands. You know what happens when you pick up shards of glass with your bare hands with no type of covering or protection? You start to bleed. You start to cut yourself. And now not only are you still trying to pick up those shards of glass with those bleeding hands, but now you got fragments, little, small, tiny shards, fragments going directly into you, being stuck directly in you, stuff that you can't get out. So again, what do you think takes place and happens to men when any of the vials of the anger that is being held? What happens when those fracture? What happens when those break, when they crack? What do you think happens to that man internally? Like I said before, it's a damnedest thing to be a man, and then on top of that to have to be a protector, because it's a thankless job. It's a job that don't nobody want to do, but somebody has to do it. And guess who's still going to do it, no matter what he has to bear, no matter how he grits his teeth, no matter how he has to walk through the situation, no matter how he has to try to, slide to the side and make room, no matter how it is that he has to try to find his way through the dark. It's always going to be a man that's going to perform and do that job to the utmost. Win or fail, it's always going to be a man at the end of the day that is still going to do that job. And even when said man does that job, and he does it as perfectly as he can, he cannot falter. He cannot break. He cannot fracture. Because if he does, women out here in the world will tell him, you are not a man. You are not what a man should be. You are not protection. You are not what I look at as strength. You are not the ideal man because you're not exuding that 100% masculinity that she thinks that you should exude being a man.